Today, we are excited to have the one and only Ali Muhammad.
Woo! Thank you for having
Assalamu
me.
alaikum, Ali.
Wa alaikum assalam. I'm very excited to be here, Ameera, and I appreciate the spotlight and the opportunity you have presented me to speak about whatever you'd like to ask me about.
Jazakallah khair for being here. And my name is Ameera. You are listening to Unsaid by Ameera.
Woo!
A little cheer up for the two of us because this is very spontaneous, and I am so glad this is gonna be the the best podcast in the history of TikTok Live.
Inshallah, I wish you more success. And one day, maybe you can take this outside TikTok and you can make this, you know, a stepping stone for your career, hopefully, inshallah.
Inshallah, ya Rab. So, Ali, let's play or okay, let me ask you a very random question, and that I think this is something your audience would love to hear. Ali, where are you from?
So I'm originally from Pakistan, Karachi, but I've been born and raised in Dubai, and I currently reside in Sharjah. I've lived here my whole life. I've studied here, graduated from high school, university. Yeah, everything has been done over here in the United Arab Emirates in Dubai.
So, Ali, what have you been doing before TikTok?
So, a little bit of context. After graduating from high school, I graduated high school in 2012. And right after I graduated from high school, my mother, in fact, surprised me and my family with a 1 month holiday trip to England, UK. And I've always wanted to visit that country. Growing up, we never had the privilege or the luxury to travel to many countries or travel just in general. And I had iterated quite a little bit, and I wanted to visit England, and so she surprised us with a trip to England. And during my summer break after graduating from high school, unfortunately, I got sick. I was ill for about 2 years. It was quite serious. 2 years of no mobility, and it was bed rest, and I was extremely anxious and depressed. And Alhamdulillah, in 2014, I recovered my health, and then I joined university because obviously for 2 years I was my life was on, like, it was stopped completely. And so once I graduated from university, I graduated in 2018. I was presented with this opportunity and a platform, which obviously everybody knows, called Instagram. And so I had a career as a social media influencer. That's how you that's how word label that as. And I used to create campaign. Sorry, I used to collaborate with a lot of clients and work on different campaigns and create content for them in exchange for experiences, endorsements, and of course I used to monetize that as well. So before TikTok, I was on Instagram as a content creator.
Mhm.
hmm
What were you like as a kid?
What was I like a kid? Honestly, this is a question you should ask my parents. But as a kid, honestly, I feel like I don't know. Maybe as a child, I'm sure everybody has been obviously the most innocent. I would, if I had to describe myself in 3 words, being a child, one of them would be innocent. Number two would be, um, I think I was very unaware as a child. You understand, like,
Mm-hmm.
um, obviously as a child, your parents make you feel like you're living the best of everything, and they try to do their best to provide you with the best. And obviously, me personally, I come from extreme humble backgrounds. I come from a
Mm-hmm.
background where, uh there were times where we had no food to eat, but I never realized that. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a really big commendable thing uh on my parents to not make me feel. So I think I would also label myself as unaware. And a third thing, I feel like I've also been neglected quite a bit as a child, not from
Mm-hmm.
family, more so with friends. Um, I've always felt like I've not had a place of belonging, and I feel like that stems deep down from being a child. I think
Mm-hmm.
that whenever or wherever I felt like I had a place of belonging with a group of friends, I think I was always the black sheep. I felt like my
Mm-hmm.
life has always been where I've had my back against the wall. I've had a lot of hurdles and altercations within myself to truly be myself, if that makes sense. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Um, but yeah, as a child, I feel like I've been very neglected from friends, and I felt like I've always had my back against the wall. I've always been at war with myself. I've always felt like I had to prove uh, myself that I am something, and the people around me who were so-called friends ever since being a child. Yeah.
So, a topic that is bullying, whether as a kid or as an adult on social media or outside social media, whatever, wherever you are, you agree bullying is very toxic, and how should one avoid people who bully you? Like, how do you get avoid being bullied?
Look, I think this is a very good topic because I have been on both sides of the spectrum. I have
Mm-hmm.
predominantly been on the side of the spectrum where people have bullied me,
Mm-hmm.
especially again pertaining to when I was a child, which
Mm-hmm.
you will add two and two together. So let's say, for example, hypothetically, if I belong to a group of friends, and if I'm feeling like I'm the black sheep of that circle, that comes from a place because where I felt like they were bullying me. Now I'll give you an example and I'll share a little bit of a story.
Sure.
One of my earliest memories of being a child, which you understand, today I'm 29, turning 30 soon, and as a mature adult, uh, I have a lot of things and I have a lot of parts of me that are extremely unhealed, and that
Mm-hmm.
again stems from because of me being a child. So I have a lot of things to take care of within myself mentally
Mm-hmm.
and heal within myself from a place where I was once. Speaking about bullying, so we had a group of 4 or 5 friends. We were all boys, and we're talking about maybe when I was in year one or year two, very young,
Mm-hmm.
very we were kids, maybe what 8, 9, 10 max. My niece is 10 years old today, and she's in year five. So this was definitely even when we were younger, 7, 8 maybe. And so there was a game we used to play within our group of friends. We used to play that when the recess bell rings for break time for your snacks, we used to challenge each other, whoever would make it to the classroom first. And so from amongst our friends, whoever would come last, we would all point fingers at him and
Mm-hmm.
say, ha ha, XYZ last, XYZ last, XYZ last, and just take the piss out of him. And so I used to be the one who used to always make it to class late or last after the recess bell finished. And so they used to all turn towards me and point their fingers and say like Ali last, Ali last, Ali last. And that rings a bell in my ears up until today. It's so traumatic. And so one
Mm-hmm.
day while being a child, yeah, I told myself, now let me outsmart them. Let me do something. So one day I decided when the recess bell rings, I'm not gonna go down, I'm not gonna play, and I'm not gonna have my food. I'm gonna sit in class. And so when I am in class and when the recess is over,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna point fingers at them and say, haha, today you guys are last, today you guys are last. And so when they all came back up and when I did that, all 4 of them again still pointed their fingers at me and said, "No, you're last," and said, haha, Ali, you're last, you're last. Now see, that part of me today is still unhealed. But
Mm-hmm.
today, as a 29-year-old adult, bullying happens every day. Today, we live in a modern day era where social media is literally ever so growing and such at such a fast and rapid pace. And so people will always talk shit, excuse my
Mm-hmm.
language. People will always talk crap and people will always, try to take the piss out of you. But as an adult today, I have learned to be very secure within myself. Easier
Mm-hmm.
said than done because some days I do feel very insecure about myself, as everybody may. But you have to learn how to be strong and you have to learn to not give two craps. So, what you have to do, you have to take it in from one ear and take it out the other because it's simple. Their opinion isn't a fact. You should be content within yourself because they haven't put their feet in your shoes. They
Mm-hmm.
don't know your hurdles, they don't know your hardships, they don't know your trauma, they don't know what it takes to be in my position. I have a battle with
True.
myself within every
Mm-hmm.
day. You understand? So
Mm-hmm.
I like to think that if someone were to put their feet in my shoes, they wouldn't even last a second. Because I know what
True.
it takes to be me. And I know what it took for me to be where I am today. I'm not saying where I am is one of the most successful people on this app or outside this app. No. We have a
Mm-hmm.
long way to go and every day is a growing process. So today, when people bully me, I don't give two shits about them. Sorry to say
Mm-hmm.
again my language. I don't care about them. Um, but yeah, obviously the child in me is still unhealed about being bullied in the past. I've been extremely bullied in high school as well. I used to study in pristine private school up until year seven, and then
Mm-hmm.
I changed my schools. I went to West Green International School from year 8 up until year 12. That's where I graduated. And even there, from middle school up until high school, I was extremely bullied to a severe extent, physically bullied as well, because again, now I'm in a new school and I'm the outsider. So now to
Mm-hmm.
be, so now I'm an unknown and I'm an outsider who is coming into a classroom where there are 20, 25 students who already grew up with each other and there's a community within. And now I'm the outsider and I'm the black sheep again. So it was very hard to make friends and it was very hard to find people who would accept me for who I am and how I am. And got extremely severely bullied. But you know what? If I had the time or if I had the opportunity to rewind time and change it, I honestly wouldn't. Because whatever has happened in the past has only made me who I am today. And therefore, even
Mm-hmm.
for a split second, I wouldn't change anything. Because whatever was happening was meant to happen in order for
Mm-hmm.
me to be at the place I am today and to be the person I am today.
Ali,
Yes.
you are so brave.
Thank you.
I am so glad that we are friends.
I appreciate that.
So, Ali, something really clicked my mind when you started doing your career or the start of your career. How did you understood or how did you come across your niche that this is what you have to do on Instagram or going to shoots personally? Could you like give us an insight how did you actually start your career?
100%. So basically, I was sick for a couple of years between 2012 and 2014, and I had consulted with a lot of doctors. And the last doctor I had consulted was a hypnotherapist.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had about 3 sessions with that hypnotherapist, and unfortunately, his sessions did not make an impact on me as such. But there were two things where what he told me, which I will always respect and keep it very close to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things he said, Ali, I want you to close your eyes. In fact, Amira, I would like you to partake in this, and everybody who's watching,
Sure.
everybody partake in this. And just for a second, close your eyes. Close your eyes and imagine you're in an extremely crowded place and you feel suffocated and your heart is beating.
Mm-hmm.
And now, suddenly, in the midst of crowd, there's a big, vicious dragon coming right towards you in a very fearful manner. Now, my question to you is, Amira, in that moment, what would you do when you see a fearful dragon come rapidly towards you? What is the first thing you would do?
I will close my eyes.
What action would you take? Any action in particular?
I would probably just sit down on the ground with my eyes closed and be like this quick. This scaredy cat, please, 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 don't hurt me. I don't want to see him hurt me.
So basically, you would try to perhaps escape reality. My answer to the hypnotherapist at the time was that I would take a sword and slay it. And he said, Ali, no, this is something which you don't want to do. And I said, why? He said, because you want to make friends with that dragon. He said, you want to be friends with that dragon. He said, what you fear, you want to make it your best friend. And that just changed my perspective of life completely.
Wow.
And the second thing he told me, because while I was obviously sick for 2 years, I had become obese, I had gained weight rapidly. And he said, Ali, you have this exertion of energy. You basically you have like a surplus of energy. You need to release it somewhere. Join the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And I took his advice. I joined the gym. So when I had joined the gym, I got my BMI done. My BMI basically stated that I had 20 kilos of excess fat, and my body percentage fat was like at 32%.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a goal for myself. I told myself, okay, my goal is to lose these 20 kilos of excess fat, and obviously to bring down my body fat percentage. And so within 4 months, I lost 20 kilos and I had zero body fat, zero body fat in kilos. And my body fat percentage went from 32 down to 13.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in these 4 months of me losing weight, what I did was obviously at the time, Instagram was the biggest app. And so I documented my transformation journey. So I started posting pictures, workout videos, and started to get a little bit of followers and following from there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, now imagine for 2 years I've been on my bed. I've lost 20 kilos in 4 months. My self esteem, my confidence is over the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm a confident guy. I feel like I'm unattainable. I'm invincible. I started to feel like I'm the king of the world. Now I can achieve anything. If I put my mind to something and if I lost 20 kilos in 4 months, I can do whatever the hell I want. I can achieve whatever the hell I want. So my confidence was at its peak.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, slowly from my fitness journey, I started to transcend into fashion. And
Mm-hmm.
so now I started shopping. I started to build an interest on male's fashion, started wearing suits, started wearing street style clothes, and I felt good about myself. So now, alongside posting content for my
Mm-hmm.
transformation journey, I started posting content about fashion. And now, when I started posting pictures of fashion, I noticed that my likes and my followers are now slowly starting to increase even more. So, somebody who's actually a bit slow, meri dimag ki ganti baji, like there was a click on my in my brain. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should slow down on the content with fitness a little bit. Let me start to focus on fashion a little more, and therefore I did. Now, obviously, 2014, I also joined university. So what I used to do is every day I used to make sure that I'm the best dressed in university because now this
Right.
is my passion. At that time, my passion was now found, and my passion was content creation, fitness, and
Mm-hmm.
fashion. So I was like, I want to look the best in university. So what I would do is I would dress up nicely, clean, fresh, smart, charismatic. And just with an iPhone, I would ask my friend, please take a photo of me. I would take that photo, post it on Instagram, and just use one hashtag, outfit of the day. That's it. Likes started to increase, followers started to increase. I did this for 2 years, Amira. Between
Mm-hmm.
2015 to 2016, all I did on Instagram was post fashion content with an iPhone and post my fitness journey with an iPhone. And in 2016, Darwaze khule. How?
Mm-hmm.
How did the door open? An opportunity presented this way. So every year in Dubai, and in fact worldwide, there is something called Fashion Week. So in Dubai, it's called Arab Fashion Week. So in October 2016, I remember very well, I got an invitation by Arab Fashion Week, and one of the sponsors of Arab Fashion Week was Lavazza. And so I got an email from Lavazza saying, Ali, we have kept an eye on your Instagram and we like your content and we would like to invite you as a guest for the Arab Fashion Week representing Lavazza. And I was still dumbfounded at that time. मुझे पता ही नहीं था कि एक like I didn't know there was such a thing called social media marketing at that time. I didn't know people are called influencers who get called for events or get endorsements or even can monetize for clients for certain campaigns to just create content for that product and post it on their Instagram. And at that time,
Mm-hmm.
I had a healthy amount of likes, a healthy amount of followers. So of course I accepted, and that's when again Meri Kanti Baji ke, wow, there is, a market which I perhaps can see myself belong to, and maybe I should now move forward in my career and start to create photos more professionally. So I started getting in touch with freelancers, other content creators who were photographers on Instagram, and we decided to mutually collaborate. They use me as a face for their portfolio, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
creating content for the clients I'm now collaborating with because now doors are opened. So when I realized that, I started emailing everyone and anyone. Hi, my name is Ali Muhammad. I have 20,000 followers on Instagram. I get about 2,500 likes. I am in love with your company. I believe in your products. Let's collaborate. I started emailing startup businesses. Now I started emailing startup businesses. Now I'm building my portfolio through the means of startup businesses, and I'm also collaborating with freelance photographers who are building their portfolio as my face. It's a win-win-win situation for everybody. Everybody goes to sleep happily. So between 2014 to 2016, it was on an iPhone. 2016 to 2017, 18, it was just hustling, hustling, hustling.
Mm-hmm.
And from 2018 up until 2021 is when I started monetizing, started working with some of the biggest brands. Ameera, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not even kidding. The brands I have collaborated with even gives me goosebumps. Up
Mm-hmm.
until today, I have worked with everybody and anybody. My
Mm-hmm.
niche was solely lifestyle. I wanted to sell Dubai as an aspect. My niche in the early days was fitness, but then slowly transcended into fashion. And my niche predominantly was male's fashion. And then slowly I got the opportunity to also collaborate with hospitality brands, automobile brands, everything and anything. Amira, I am someone who never had the privilege to travel to any country.
Mm-hmm.
I had two sponsored trips on a first class flight in Emirates to Cairo.
Wow.
To
Wow.
Cairo. Marriott Middle East had St. Regis launching in Cairo, and they invited me as one of the guests to come
Mm-hmm.
on a sponsored trip. To come on a sponsored trip, and I got a first class ticket. Somebody who couldn't even afford economy.
Mm-hmm.
Economy is now being provided with the best of hotels in Cairo in a first class Emirates flight amongst 12
Wow.
other people. There were 4 content creators and 8 journalists worldwide.
Wow.
Worldwide. I have collaborated with Bentley, Range Rover. I've collaborated with Marriott Middle East. I've collaborated with Hilton. I've collaborated with Boss. Collaborated with. I've met celebrities. I've met Zac Efron. I've met other people through what? Just content creation, which started in 2014 through an
Mm-hmm.
iPhone with my fitness journey, which then transcended into fashion. It's crazy. It is absolutely unfathomable.
It
But
is honestly interesting.
yes, but then what happened was Instagram had to come to a stop. Why? Coronavirus. 2021 coronavirus. Now, what happened with coronavirus was obviously all the clients weren't able to facilitate any sort of payments because obviously there was a crisis in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Number two, there was a lockdown. Number three, you can't create content if there's a lockdown. So why should you be endorsed with a product to begin with? So
Indeed.
endorsement stops, payment stopped, events stopped, everything stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Sab kuch utter standstill. And then TikTok comes to place. Now, how does TikTok come to place? TikTok came to place, I'll tell you how. There was a campaign on Instagram with Babyless, if you know the
Yes.
brand.
Yes.
So they were launching their men's grooming products in the Middle East. And there were 8 influencers part of that campaign. Out of which one of them I will say the name, and a huge shout out to this guy. His name is Muhammad Anaba. You can Google him and you can see which position he works on TikTok today. The campaign with Babyless was back in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
2021, me and Anaba were still good friends. We used to play football with each other weekly. He's a brother of mine. He's a friend, he's a brother, and then he's somebody who I would consider as a colleague or, uh, like somebody who, uh, a work relationship with TikTok. Wo aakhir mein. 2021, he calls me, he's like, Ali, you're missing out. I'm like, what am I missing out on? He's like, TikTok. I'm like, what TikTok? He's like, Ali, you can monetize on TikTok when you go live. Do you know that? I said, no. He's like, bro, please make an app. Please download the app. I will help you, he said. I said, okay. Today I have 250,000 followers on TikTok. In my first year, I received 200,000 followers. How? In Abba. My millions, I have views in millions on my videos. If you swipe down, I have views in millions, 10 million, 8 million, 6 million. How? In Abba. He really pushed my TikTok page as much as he could. He was the one who told me about TikTok Live. So now Instagram is stopped because anyways, we're in lockdown. There's no content, there's no endorsements, there's no payments, there's no events. You're at home. You're at home. Okay, go live. June 2021, I started going live. My first month of TikTok, I made 500 dirhams. That's
MashaAllah.
$150. I'm like, I'm making 500 dirhams by sitting on my house. Anyways, money is money. Whether it's $100, whether it's $150, whether it's $5. पैसे
Mm-hmm.
तो मिल रहे ना मुझे. तो मैं ये कर रहा हूँ. So now, what happened on my early stages of TikTok, I became friends with two, three other people. Now I have a circle of two, three people who I call my friends on TikTok, and I used to only co host with them. For one whole year, I surrounded my TikTok live stream with those three, four people, and I used to battle them every day.
Ali,
Yes.
who was the first one? Do you remember?
The first co host I ever battled was a girl called Nofa Nouri, who was connected to me by Enaba. He was the one who made this happen.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I became friends with other people called Sanam, Mehvish, and Anum, and Labika, and Hussein, and Hamza, Hamza and Hussein were my first two ever supporters, and also a guy called 9PK UAE, whose name is Saad. Saad, I think, was the first person who ever sent me a line. So basically, शुरुआत में एक छोटी सी community मेरी.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to only play these people, three, four people, like I said. For 1 year, I did that. And then after a year, I see who, in my eyes, is literally the king of TikTok, Yusuf. I started seeing Yusuf. I'm talking about 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
2021, June.
Yeah.
Sorry, 2020. We're talking about 20. Coronavirus was when?
2020.
2020 June, not 2021. This year in June will be 4 years of me being on TikTok.
Yeah.
So in 2021, after a year, I come across Yusuf. I see Yusuf sitting with 500 viewers at the time. And I see him very aggressive, very disrespectful, very Joshila. I didn't stand the guy. I couldn't stand him. But I noticed patterns in his live host. I noticed some patterns that he would play everyone and anyone, and he would have this character that was extremely passionate about this live streaming. So I got inspired as well at the same time. Sorry. Uh, the word I'm looking for is ironically, despite me being inspired, I couldn't stand him. That's the word I'm looking for. So I realized that what the hell, Ali, you've been playing with three, four people for 1 year, and if you made X amount of money, what happens if you play bigger hosts or other hosts? So I started playing other hosts. That's when my, like gates opened again on TikTok. Because now I'm playing everyone and anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm getting exposure because I had limited my exposure to just a group of four people. So now I'm starting to play everyone and anyone, and now I'm growing. Not saying today I'm someone who has 500 viewers. You have to grow every day. But I realized that in order to get known, to get exposure, to get other gifters, to become friends and network and play with other hosts, and to
Mm-hmm.
make a name out there, you need to be widespread. So that community I belong to, I pushed myself away.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to broaden my horizon. And that's when I realized, okay, wow, you know, it's working out. Alhamdulillah, we're getting more hosts to play with. We're getting more supporters. We're building a community again. We're getting to know other people and everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And another name I would like to give a shout out to, Huda Najmi. Now, Huda Najmi was the first person who also introduced me to a lot of these big hosts.
Mm-hmm.
So on TikTok, if you know, there's a big influencer called Rumi UAE. So Rumi, I got acquainted to Rumi by Huda, and Rumi also helped me push my broad quite a bit. And she gave me that exposure. She invited me to an event at the launch of her fragrance. That's where I met Yusuf. I met all these other big hosts.
Ali,
Yes.
you have met Yusuf?
I have met Yusuf 3 times. Yes.
Wow.
I have
Good.
met Yusuf about 3 times. And Yusuf, no matter how he portrays himself on TikTok, you understand that your beauty is your manners. I am no one and I'm nothing to Yusuf. And Yusuf has never played or co hosted with me. Never.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I have met Yusuf, I have gone to him and I've said goodbye. Was sitting and he stood up. And that's why I respect the man so much. Because,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, he doesn't need to stand up to say bye to me,
Definitely.
but he did. And the other people on the table, they kept sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Yusuf was the only one who stood up, and that is very commendable. Not once, but in the 3 times I've met him, every time.
Wow.
So coming back, Huda really helped me get exposure, and I started to broaden my horizon. I started to play everyone and anyone. And of course, TikTok is such a thing which majority of the exposure you will be provided with is through the means of your supporter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, Alhamdulillah, Ameera, you've been a part of this journey for quite some time as well yourself, and you must have seen yourself what happened with me in November and December. Our dear brother, Batman, everybody knows him. I have utmost love and respect for that guy. And in the months of November, December, he went absolute berserk and pushed my broad to a certain degree. He got me 4 top 1s. He got me top 3. He helped me get connected to Patlu, play against Patlu, get that sort of exposure to play with big people, big hosts. You know, it's not
Mm-hmm.
easy to do that. We're talking about some next level jigger or kaleja or, uh, big. You need big courage to do such a thing, to go to the extent to go ham on someone to that extent. So huge shout out to
Definitely.
Batman. So Alhamdulillah, in I'm not saying my journey with TikTok has been easy. It's been a struggle. In all honesty, I've been on this app for 4 years, and I still sit with less than 50 viewers. So that speaks volumes within itself. But of course, in the months of November and December, I felt again I was untouchable. I was invincible. I was sought like seven heaven. I was on the seventh heaven. I was over the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it can happen once, then I have no doubt it can happen twice.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's a little bit about
Okay, so Ali, I'm curious. Who was your first big crazy gifter like Batman?
in the early days. I used to have. I want to give a shout out to 3 people. There was 9PK UAE Saad, who went absolute ham for me in the beginning, and then of course, you see, there are some people who are never meant to stay forever. So I feel like he was somebody who was in my life momentarily, and he used to gift me quite a bit. And he came to a point where he was done with TikTok. His appetite was filled, and he felt like he wanted to prioritize his life with everything which didn't pertain to TikTok. So basically, his life outside TikTok, and so he left. After Saad, there were 2 people who used to play simultaneously for me. One was Hussein, and one was Hamza.
Mm-hmm.
Hamza and me are still in touch up until today. 4 years, imagine, Ameera, 4 years. We're talking about 4 years. Hamza does not come on TikTok anymore. Hamza does not. play anymore. He has an account, he has a profile, but I do keep in touch with him. I have his WhatsApp and I have him on Instagram as well. We keep on sharing, funny videos. But Hamza as well has been one individual who has gone absolute ham for me alongside Hussein. And of course, there were a lot of other people. There was one person called Labika. Labika also went absolute ham for me. These four people, really, if you could say in other words, agar mera ghar chala, or if I could show some respect in my house, because obviously we live in a community where our parents think very orthodox. So for them, TikTok is something extremely out of the blue. For them, it's undigestible. They can't digest that, okay, my son is a TikToker and he sits on live every day. What is he doing?
Hmm.
लेकिन जब अगर पैसे आप टेबल पे डालो ना, then they have no room to talk because you are providing now.
True.
So if in the beginning, early stages of my career, if my parents allowed me to do or had no objection with what I was doing, was because of Labika, Hamza, Hussein, and Saad.
MashaAllah, that is so inspiring and so interesting. You are truly the humblest person I've met on TikTok.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, Ali, I'd like to ask the audience if they want to ask Ali something. Khumzi here is saying, what does the future hold? Where does it go from here? Wow.
So, as an individual, I have to force myself, or not force myself, but I would like to think that I'm a neutral and level headed person. And with that being said, I have to keep at the back of my mind every time that TikTok right now is a phase and it's momentarily, and tomorrow the app might just simply not exist. In argument of that, I can say and argue that no, social media is only moving forward and this is the way to go. So it's subjective. You don't know whether TikTok will remain, you don't know whether TikTok might not remain.
Hmm.
So, in answer to what the future holds, I will do TikTok up until TikTok exists. I
Inshallah.
will do TikTok up until this app exists, whether I have friends, family, or supporters or viewers. I will do TikTok till TikTok exists. After TikTok and outside TikTok, obviously, look, I have goals and aspirations. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to invest my money. I want to get residual income
Hmm.
because it's very important to have multiple sources of income. I cannot depend on TikTok every
Forever.
time. I
Yeah.
can depend on TikTok even up until the app exists. So I am thinking, and inshallah, with time, slowly but surely, I will be investing my money. There are a few things I have my mind in. I prefer not to speak about this because I am a very confidential person. I like to keep things private. But I do
We
want to have
respect
a
that.
business where I want to provide a service which will, inshallah, help me earn residual income.
Inshallah, Ya Rab.
The plan has never been to sustain Ali. The
Hmm.
plan has always been to sustain Ali's family. Through the hard work of Ali, my friends and family will cherish the
Inshallah.
fruits. That's always been my goal.
Inshallah, Ya Rab. Lots
Through
of
my
prayers
labor, through
too.
my sweat, through my hard work, I want my family to, you know, have the sweetness of the fruits, whether they be my parents, my sisters, or my kids in the future. Um, and we have to think far enough to not only sustain myself or my family or my kids, but we have to work hard enough to sustain our children's children. And that's another
Hmm.
goal and objective of mine. Question number two: will you ever stop keeping toothpaste and face masks in your car? Let's make a deal, Khumzi Bhai. As long as you are here, no more toothpaste and face masks. Inshallah.
Inshallah, Ya Rab. Right. So, Ali, how do you prioritize and manage your time with so many different commitments and responsibilities?
Truth be told, I don't. Find me someone who can manage stress, pressure, work, responsibilities, and has their life 100% in check. I don't think there is anyone, and if you are that person, then I respect and commend you, and I need to learn from you.
Hmm.
But I tell myself two things, and I would like to give this advice to everybody watching, inshallah, that you should always take a paper and draw a line in between it.
Mm-hmm.
The first column, things you can control,
Mm-hmm.
and column number two, things you can't control. Things you can control, make a list. These are the things you should prioritize and focus on. Things you can't control, why bother and worry about it to begin with? You can't control it. Let it go. Let it go. These are things which are only going to be if it's meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
So forget that. Things you can control, prioritize it. For me right now, my priority is to, like I said, I cannot stress this enough. I come from a very humble family. I come from a place where we we've come out from the dirt. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Literally, my father has been a butcher. My father has been an taxi driver. My father has been everything and anything. My dad has been somebody who stands on the streets and sells visas in the airport.
Mm-hmm.
So we literally come from the dirt. We come from the dirt. So my objective and my priority right now is to uplift the standards of my family's living. You understand me? Ameera, you visited my house. You've seen how my living room looks.
Yes.
That was me. Before that, before TikTok, it was shit. Sorry to say.
Mm-hmm.
We had broken and ridiculous furniture. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? Today, if you see Ali driving a BMW, and you will say, wow, this guy's set and comfortable in life. No, look at what my dad drives. He drives a 2006 Pajero.
Mm-hmm.
Second hand, third hand maybe. So all that glitter is not gold. So my objective and my priority has always been to uplift the standard of my family's living, currently or in the future. So I'm providing luxuries to myself. I'm providing luxuries to my family, which we couldn't even once think of. Guys, 3 dirhams. My mom couldn't afford 3 dirhams to give me for a sandwich, which was 2 dirhams, and a juice, which was 1 dirham for school. My mom, I would go to her, I would say, Mom, you didn't give me money today for snacks. She's like, Ali, sorry, I forgot. She lied. It was not that she forgot. She didn't have 3 dirhams to give me.
Mm-hmm.
God bless her. God bless our parents. But I come from a place where we didn't have 3 dirhams for food. Crazy, man. Shit. Oh, crazy, man, honestly. So my priority has always been and will always be to uplift the standard of my family's living and to provide for my family till the day I die, inshallah.
Inshallah, Ya Rab. Ameen. Is it hard to have your life posted online and shared with so many more?
Look, I've always wanted to inspire people because of the message I just conveyed. If I can do it, and I'm not saying again, I'm not tooting my own horn here. I'm not saying I'm anyone, and I'm not saying I'm anything. But if I am someone who hasn't been able to get 3 dirhams for lunch while being younger for my snacks in school, that same person got a sponsored flight in Emirates first class to Cairo.
Wow.
So if I can do it, so can you. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, I am more than happy, comfortable to post my life and post my journey and share my content to the world out there, because if I can do it and if I've inspired one person from the midst of 10, 100, thousands, my job is done. Because it starts from within. It starts from within. You are fighting your own mindset. One day, if you wake up saying that I am the most invincible man on this planet, and I can conquer and I can achieve everything I set my mind to, I promise you, you will. Because it starts up here. So
Definitely.
yes, I want to inspire and I want to continuously post my life, whether it's through a live stream or whether it's through content on Instagram or whether it's through videos on TikTok. I used to lie to my friends and my people and the other influencers I used to collaborate with or used to partake in campaigns. I used to tell them I live in Dubai. I've lived in Sharjah my whole life. But out of shame, I would hide the truth and tell them I live in Dubai. I used to drive a Cherry Tiggo 3, a Chinese car, which was one of the most embarrassing cars anybody could pull up to in an event in Burj Khalifa. And I would lie and I would make excuses. I live in Dubai. No, I live in Sharjah. I live in a very humble apartment, by the way. My building is like 20 years old, just for your information. But I'm at a point now where I wear everything on my chest and I say it out with my chest. I have nothing to hide. I have no reason to lie. Because I am what I am. My reality is my reality. And through my hard work, I will. Now I'm living in Sharjah. Tomorrow I will live in Dubai. Today I'm living in a 20-year-old apartment. Tomorrow I will live in Burj Khalifa. Why? Why should I limit
Inshallah.
myself from achieving what I want? You understand me?
Inshallah. Yes.
So it is what it is. I live in Sharjah. I drove a Cherry Tiggo 3. I had the back against my wall. I had hurdles. I had hardships. And if I can overcome such situations, so can you.
Do you ever deal with backlash, and how so, to hosts and supporters from other teams? So how do you deal with backlashes, Ali?
You will receive backlash everywhere, anywhere, at any given time, on TikTok, outside TikTok. And the biggest person you will receive backlash from is yourself. And you should always receive backlash from yourself first, because you as an individual should always be your harshest critique. Otherwise, there will never be room for improvement and you will never grow as an individual. So always be your harshest critique. Always strive for more. If you get complacent, I'm telling you, in November, December, I know how much I made through this app in 2 months because of one man, Batman. I know. But what did I do? I was unable to sustain myself because I got complacent, and therefore I took a month off. I took a month off for other reasons too. But one of the reasons was because I was complacent and I had this safety and blanket and cushion of comfort. I come tomorrow, I come a month later. I know Batman is there. No. Today there is Batman, tomorrow there might not be him. Correct? So I understand I kicked myself in the foot. So the biggest backlash starts from you first, in a good way and in a bad way. But without the backlash, then where's your striving moment to grow more further? Where's that hunger? Subjectively, this is very subjective. But in general, backlash, yeah. You know how much I've compromised dedicating the hours on TikTok? I don't see my mother's face living in the same house.
Hmm.
I don't give time to my parents. I don't have a social circle. I don't go out. I don't. The only two things I do is play football twice a week. That's my social gathering. Otherwise, where am I going out? Tomorrow, okay, I might meet a group of friends. But for the first time in 24 days of going live, my social life has been sacrificed. My family life has been sacrificed. My me time has been sacrificed. All for what? For the bigger picture. Yes, I know. For the bigger picture, yes. But backlash, it's subjective, from this tangent, that tangent, this tangent. Obviously, my mother messaged me yesterday, Ali, I haven't seen your face in 2 days. We live in the same house. We live in the same house. Our house is small. Same house. Ali, I haven't seen your face in 2 days. Yeah. I'm dedicating my life and putting all my sweat, tears, blood, effort, soul, pouring it into this app just to get a buck out. For who? For them. For them. So yeah, backlash. There is backlash everywhere, from within yourself, from within your circle, from within your social life. There's backlash everywhere, and backlash will always be there. And backlash will help you strive for more. That's how I look at it. Negative energy, use that as a fuel, convert it into positive energy, rise to the top.
Hmm.
خلاص.
So inspiring, Ali. Okay. The audience, they are loving your story, and hence they have put forth question number 5. Would you like to go ahead and read that first?
Question number 5. Have you ever been noticed before out in public? Little celebrity status, has it got you anywhere? Yes, I have had a few moments where a lot of people have come up to me asking me for pictures. Not many, I'm not going to lie, I haven't had them in numbers, but I have had a few moments where people in Dubai Mall, Dubai Hills Mall, outside on the street. The other day I was live in my car and somebody came up to me saying, "Is this you?" And he was watching me live while he came up. I don't know if you guys saw that. And I asked him to comment, and I even followed him back because he was watching me. He was giving me his time, so the least I can do is give him a follow back, right? So yeah, I've had a few moments as being an Instagrammer or a TikToker where people have come up to me and people have asked me for photos. Yes, I've had that, but maybe about 10 if I had to number it, not more than 10. in what, 10 years of doing social media, maybe 10 people, 10, 12. That's it.
The question is the best host single? Would he ever consider dating a host slash gifter? Is there a Mrs. Ali?
He just said to keep it light, and he asked the most spiciest question. Who asked this question? Who asked this question?
Hoopsie!
Kumsi, you just said to keep it light. Look, I will tell you something, yeah?
Spice it
Love love is something that can be found everywhere and anywhere.
up. Mhm.
And anyone can find love at any time, irrespective of what they are, who they are, or where they are. I gave an example of my cousin earlier today, and I will give a question about, I will say the same example about my cousin earlier today. Use the same example that I used earlier.
Mhm.
My cousin back in 2018 got married to his wife currently, who is the mother of two children, his two
Mhm.
children, and alhamdulillah their marriage is going very well. They found each other on Instagram. So why cannot a host find a wife, a partner on TikTok, whether she may be a host or a gifter? Love is something, it's like an energy, and that can be found anywhere. Ah,
Who is your biggest enemy on TikTok and why?
the biggest enemy on TikTok is myself. I don't have no enemies other than that. I have a lot
Ooh.
of differences with quite a few other hosts out there, but no, none of them are my enemy. Why should I give them the label and opportunity to call them my enemy? Who are they?
Mhm.
Ah,
Mhm.
I'm my biggest enemy because I have a hunger and desire and appetite in me which is unfathomable to achieve. Therefore, that makes me a victim of my own enmity, you could say. Steve's question. Tell us about your love life. How do you balance both your private life and social life? So, Phantom, welcome. I actually struggle quite a bit keeping a balance. And again, if you find me somebody who has a good balance between work, social, and love life, find me that person because I need to learn from them then. But I am somebody who lives and progresses with his day and time and life very chronologically. So I have priorities. My priority is work and then my family, but they kind of coexist with each other because I work for my family. Balancing work with love life. Look, the more you desire that person, partner, wife, spouse, girlfriend, in itself will mean how much hard work you will put in. And you need a partner who is understanding, who will support you, who will understand what you do for work, who will understand if you're MIA. You need to find someone compatible. This is a two-way question because you and your partner need to find that balance within yourself in order for you to find the balance between work and your love life. So it's like, you know, it's like a stretched out question.
Do you have a TikTok crush? I do.
Uh, I have one TikTok crush, and she might be sitting right here. Ooh, that's for you guys. That's
Whoa!
for you guys to worry about now.
There is a question by Omahi. In an instance where a gifter is being used and they know, whose fault is it?
Both
I
of your
like
fault. It's the host's fault and it's the gifter's fault. Why? Because you can clap with two hands, not one. Two sides to a story, always. Two sides to a story, always. If, as a gifter, you are self aware that you are being used, then I kind of put the blame more on you. But the fact that you're allowing yourself to be used by the host, I think it's more of the gifter's fault. But like I said, there are two sides to a story, and only talia do haath se bachti hai. So the host is wrong for manipulating the gifter, and the gifter is naive while being self-aware that they're being used. Gifting on TikTok is what? What is gifting on TikTok? What is a host on TikTok? If you look at this, it is PR, public relations, networking. Who supports you as a host? The hosts who Me being a host, the people who support me are my friends. I don't have gifters. I will never label them as gifters. They are friends, they are family. They are something or someone who means something to me or are part of my life and know who Ali is, not who Ali Muhammad on TikTok is.
Mhm.
So you build a relationship with them, you have a connection with them. You understand?
Mhm.
My people who have gifted me since 4 years ago up until today, I have all of their WhatsApp numbers. Why do I have their WhatsApp numbers? If I wanted to be civil or I wanted a relation of a gifter and a host, I would not get their WhatsApp. I have their WhatsApp because I don't label them as gifters. I label them as friends, family, dost, you know. So, host, gifter, it's the relationship they have, the network, the community, the friendship, the bond, the understanding. That's what a gifter and a host should have in order for a host to support, sorry, in order for a gifter to support a host.
Here, I would like to ask you a question regarding um, the networking. So, do you agree, or let me put it this way, is it okay for anybody, and as an individual, male or female, as an adult here on TikTok, to bring their friendship outside TikTok, whether to meet up, to exchange numbers, to exchange other social
Look,
media
Amira,
platforms,
we
anything?
again we live in a world which is completely digitalized.
Mm-hmm,
We live in an era, we live in a world where social media is ever so growing up until today, and there's still room for improvement.
mm-hmm,
Today, all the friends I have are all through social media, whether it may be TikTok or Instagram. You and me are friends. How? Through social media.
mm-hmm,
People who support me and show me love are my friends. How? Through social media.
mm-hmm,
So why not extend the relationship you have on an app outside the app? I don't have any friends, by the way, outside TikTok. I don't have anyone. I have one person who I am in touch with from high school up until today. Shout out to him. His name is Salman Merchant. Graduated together back in 2012. He joined high school in 2009. I joined 2008. 2009 up until 2024. He's the only one person I'm in touch with from high school. I'm not in touch with anybody from uni. I went to Qatar. I met a friend who I studied with in uni, but I'm not in touch with them.
mm-hmm,
But I'm talking about friends. Today, the friends I have are all through social media. So why not get their number? Why not meet them? Why not chill with them? Sultan has been one of my biggest supporters. Today, he dropped 200K like as if it was nothing. He's coming to Dubai. He's in Dubai right now. Why shouldn't I meet him?
mm-hmm.
He's a friend. He's a brother. I have a relationship with him. I know him for 3 years. For 3 years, he's been supporting me. He's in town. You don't think I'm going to give him my respect and show him my face and say salam? That would be disrespectful if I don't get their numbers, if I don't ask them how they are. Phantom, for example, I don't know if he's here. Phantom shows love whenever he can. His mom's unwell. If I don't ask how his mom is every now and then, that's disrespectful on me. So
True.
I have to have their number. I have to ask for their well being. If they're taking care of me, it's my duty to check in on them. It's my duty to take care of them as much as I can. So, yes, you should get their numbers. You should talk to them. You should chill with them. You should be friends with them. You should meet them. You
Mm-hmm.
should. 110%.
Okay, Ali, I think our audience are so much interested into your love life. Steve is asking if you have a girlfriend. If so, would you stop TikTok or Instagram if she asks you to?
Look, it's very important to find a partner who will always support you no matter what. Whether you're a TikToker or an Instagrammer, if she or your partner isn't someone who supports you with what you do, then unfortunately she is not the right partner. And as far as the first question goes, yes, I am committed. And Alhamdulillah, she's very supportive and she's very understanding and she's very patient. And yeah,
Ooh, I didn't know you're committed.
if a host is dating someone, is it okay to still flirt with gifters to get support?
Ooh,
So that's
spicy.
actually a very good question, Mahi. But again, it's very subjective only because of your understanding with your host slash girlfriend slash boyfriend, if you are okay with that host flirting with other gifters in order for her to get her bread, which will also, if you guys are in a serious, committed, loyal relationship where you're going to put a wedding ring on her finger, to that extent, I'm talking in a very realistic manner, uh, to support herself, to support you, support the family. If you have an understanding with her, and if you are okay with that, and if only you have no objection, then there should not be a problem. However, that is very messed up. I'm sorry. It's like it's like I don't like to say it. You understand? It's like if the host has to resort to that extent to get gifting, you know, I don't know, man. I'd rather not indulge in this.
Have you ever helped a gifter outside of TikTok with their personal life?
I have. I have, yes. I don't like to say names, but I'll give you an example. Again, this might come off as somebody who's blowing their own trumpet or somebody who's tapping themselves in the shoulder. But there was a supporter of mine a few months ago. He used to go quite generously for me every month. He used to play one big game for me once a month and go absolute ham. And so he messaged me one day saying, Ali, look, I'm not in the, position to support anymore. And I said, of course, you don't have to put pressure on yourself. And while everyone is listening, I'd like to say this to them as well. If, I have told this to Ameera as well, if you supporting me as an individual puts you in a place where you're at discomfort, do not support me. If you are someone who supports me and you're jeopardizing your finances, where you are unable to live peacefully or take care of your expenses or eat, do not support me. Do not even send me one flower. And that guy was one of them. He used to support me, but he used to jeopardize his finances and he used to struggle for himself. So
Mhm.
one day he messaged me, Ali, I'm in debt. I have XYZ amount to clear. The gifting I did was via my credit card. And now I'm on loan. I am stuck. The bank is pressuring me. Yada, 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 yada. I helped him. I helped him with what I could. And I told him, you helped me at a time when I had no supporters. This is the least I can do. Take this. Give it to me in a month. Give it to me in 2 months. Give it to me in 3 months. And if you cannot give it, do not give it back. And I gave it to him. And what happened? You saw what Batman did. He went ham. So when you give with a good intention, your Lord himself says, I will give you 10 times more. Maybe that's what happened. You have to help your people. You have to help your family. You have to help your friends. You know, you have to.
Definitely.
You have to.
Is the Ali we see online the same Ali in real life?
I think, Kumzi Bhai, honestly, it's a yes and no. There are days where I present myself on TikTok, which is not a version of me or a version that I'm truly myself. Majority of the times, predominantly, yes, I am me because I'm not somebody who likes to hide or pretend. I'm not a very pretentious person. Although this app, this live streaming, it requires you for you to be pretentious. It requires for you to portray yourself in a character that you perhaps don't even are deep down. It requires to be someone you're not. So some of the times I will present myself in a way where I'm not truly myself, but predominantly yes. I am a very emotional person. I am a very emotional person. I take a lot of shit to heart. I take a lot of shit personally. I take a lot of shit to my mind. I'm unable to, sometimes even progress with my day because of again, starting from what I had said initially, like the battles I have from within. But that side of me, I keep aside when I go live because I have to. I have to. So in that context, yes.
You could have a conversation with your younger self. What advice would you give? Good one, Steve.
If I could tell my younger self anything, I would tell my younger self, fuck man, I have goosebumps again. I would I would tell my younger self so much. Mm. I genuinely have so much of my childhood that is so unhealed. It's crazy. I For the first 10 years of me being a child, I more or less grew without the presence or the love of a father. And my mother was my father as well, because my father used to work overseas. He used to work in Bujumbura, Burundi. So for the first 10 years, I grew up without the presence of a dad. And then obviously when he came back in 2004 from Bujumbura, Burundi, because his business had collapsed at the time, uh, Zahra was born and Zahra was conceived. And my dad showed her so much love and care, and he was basically a father to Zahra, which I never received. So that complexity of me being a child has always been there, and the complexity of me feeling like I belong to a group, with the story I shared earlier with the friends, um, being a black sheep within a group of circle up until today as well, maybe, uh, but focusing more so on me being a child. I think I would tell myself that, you know what, Ali, I would tell my younger self, like, you know what, just believe in yourself and just never give up on what you want to achieve, because one day you will achieve it. I would instill the characteristic of never giving up since being a childhood, because as a child I've always felt unwelcomed. I've always felt, you know, I've never felt warmth. I've never felt loved. I've never felt cherished. I've never felt important. I've never felt belonged. I've never felt any of that sort of it as a child, till a point in my life where I was old enough to tell myself at that moment in time, F everyone and F everything. Do what you need to do and do it for yourself. So I would tell myself what I told myself at 21, 22, being a child. Maybe when I was like 8, 9, 10. Ali is one person I've seen on TikTok that's seen struggle as a host. Wallah, Phantom, I love you, man. Nothing without you, bro. Being consistent and strong through it all. Well done. Phantom, I love you, bro. I will never take away from what you've done for me. And I always love and respect you, bro, since day one, man. It's been 3 years, 2 years that I know you as well. Much love and respect to you, bro.
Has being a host or gifter ever hurt you personally, making you want to quit?
110%.
Mhm.
110%. We live in a very toxic environment where your complexity gets triggered by the success of other hosts who you are friends with. 110%. I've always felt like I've wanted to quit, but me having that sort of feeling where I quit, the drive then suddenly becomes two times more, because just like Phantom said, I have been thirsty for getting a top one badge for 3 years, and then in 20 days I got top one 4 times. Why? How? Through resilience. The term over here we use is resilience. I was resilient, I was patient, I was waiting for the universe to align its stars. And I have to understand as an individual, and everybody needs to understand as an individual, that things will only happen when they're meant to be. You understand?
Mhm.
If you want to have if you want to have a business and have residual income, you can't have that business set up in a month. And even if it's set up in a month, you will only cherish the fruits of it after a year at minimum. This stuff takes
Mhm.
time. This stuff takes
Definitely.
time. So, of course, I've wanted to quit because I'm my own enemy. And of course, I've wanted to quit because I see other hosts do better than me. And of course, I want to quit because I feel like I'm not worth it and I'm not enough and maybe this is not meant for me and this is not meant to be. But then I change my perspective and the hunger then becomes two times more that no, hum kisi se kam nahi. We are not less than anyone. If this person can do it, then why can't I? If this person is
Definitely.
able to do it, then why can't I? And therefore, I'm telling you guys the same thing. If I can do it, then why can't you? Literally, that's my principle. If I can do it, what did I do? Nothing. But if I can do something small, you guys can do it too. It's all about perspective and mindsets. Have you received any memorable feedback or stories from an audience that you'd like to share? I think as of recent right now, Phantom said something so nice that I really appreciate. Ali is one of the nicest. Ali is one person I've seen on TikTok that's seen struggle as a host and has made it to top one by being consistent and strong through it all. Well done, mashallah. See, so that's a good feedback that I really appreciate, and I'm so grateful for having Phantom in my life. Um, I've never met him. He lives in Canada. Inshallah, soon when he comes to Dubai, I'll have the pleasure to see him and meet him as well. Um, but yeah, I think it's important to surround yourself with people who don't only necessarily support you in terms of monetary, but those same people who support you with boosting up your spirits. You know, they also help you uh, surround yourself with people who are as hungry to achieve a goal that you want to achieve, no matter even if the goal is different. You know, basically, like surround yourself with similar mindsets. Yeah, that's what I'd like to say about that.
Right. So Kumsi is asking, does that car smell like Ali, or does Ali smell like a BMW?
The car smells like cigarettes. Oh, because I don't get the opportunity to smoke comfortably at home, and I don't choose to smoke at home. I choose to not smoke at home out of respect for my parents, obviously. They've never asked me, but obviously they know that I smoke. And even if they were to confront me, I'm not someone who's going to lie at 29. I'm my own adult. I'm my own individual now. But the car smells like cigarettes.
Rapid fire questions with two options. Rapid fire. Okay, three, two, one. Work or play?
Work, always.
Love or friendship?
Love,
Money or happiness?
money,
Summer or winter?
winter,
Cats or dogs?
none,
Morning or evening?
evening,
Salty or sweet?
both.
A night out or a night in?
Good question. As of right now, in this moment, a night out.
Fresh food or fried food?
Fresh food.
Are you a thinker or a doer?
Both.
Driving or flying?
Driving.
Expensive presents or homemade presents?
Homemade presents which are expensive.
Are you cautious or bold?
Cautious. Very cautious.
Are you street smart or book smart?
I'll let the audience answer that. Okay.
Do you have your own Netflix account or do you use somebody else's?
I have my own Netflix account.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Desserts. I have a terrible sweet tooth. Terrible.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
I don't do karaoke. मुझे पीने दो
Please sing.
तेरे प्यार ने सर आम बदनाम कर दिया मुझे शराब का गुलाम कर दिया मुझे ना जी रहा हूँ ना मैं मर सका. Of
Ali,
course,
do
anytime.
you have any suggestion, a piece of advice, or something you want to convey to your audience?
If a child who grew up without the love and presence of his father, and who got bullied up until high school, and who didn't have money in his pocket because their parents couldn't provide even 3 dirhams for the snacks in school, do not be disheartened, because firstly, I promise you, your parents are doing their best to provide you with the best. But do not be disheartened, because the world is round and your time will come. Things will present you in a manner when you least expect it, given the fact that A, you believe in yourself and put the hard work in. And I promise you, if you can dream it, I promise you, you can achieve it. If a person who is overweight and goes to the gym every day for a year, you don't think he will get results? Or if a person who is in corporate and works every day so hard, tirelessly, effortlessly, every day for a year, you don't think he will get promoted? Of course they would. 110% they would. I have been a host on TikTok for 4 years. It took me 3 years, 3.5 years to get top one. It happened eventually. It will always happen. You put the work in, you stay dedicated to your craft, you stay resilient, you never give up, always have the hunger and appetite. And like I said, if I can do it, so can you, whether it's TikTok or outside TikTok. Number one. Number two, I want to say one more thing. In high school, the high school I went to, West Green International School, 90% of the population were locals, Emiratis, and they were royal families. Another complexity I had growing up, that how do these children wear Rolexes in their hands, come with the best of fragrances, come in Range Rovers, and I can't afford 300 dirhams worth of Nikes. My dad said, no, I can't, Ali, sorry, I'm tight. How did I go to the same school and sit with them under the same roof while they had Rolexes and I couldn't even afford Nikes? Another big complexity. So my life, my childhood, my upbringing, my teenagehood has just been filled with so much negligence and so much hurdles, hardships, and just so much trauma. But then what happened? But then what happened? Then Ali started to get endorsed with watches. Ali started getting endorsed with fragrances. Ali started to get to test drive and experience Range Rovers. How come? What I was never provided with as a childhood, I was it was given to me at my feet. My Instagram career has been a journey for me to, again, like, I have goosebumps. How did I do it? How did a boy from humble beginnings do it? How? Don't even follow me on Instagram. Just look at my Instagram. How did I do it? Growing up with so much complexities, being so bitter, being so miser, being so upset. These people are walking in with the best of fragrances and wearing the best of watches and coming in with the best of cars. Ali had that all at his feet, by Range Rover himself, by the clients of the companies of the watches by themselves, by the fragrances themselves. How? Hard work, resilience, dream, believe, achieve. Simply put, absolutely simply put, dream, believe, achieve.
Mhm.
Honestly, honestly. So, my message to you all once again is, if you can dream it, you can achieve it. And dreams are not what you see when you sleep. Your dreams are your dreams are what keep you awake at night. Your hunger and appetite should never, never diminish. Never, never.
That's incredibly exciting to hear as we wrap up. Thank you, Ali, for joining us today and sharing your journey with us. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, that's Unsaid by Ameera, for more.
Amira, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed the time. Thank you so much for taking out the time. And this is not me giving you my time. This is you giving me your time. It's an honor, and it's a privilege. And I wish you all the success. And inshallah, Unsaid by Amira will be even bigger and better than you can ever imagine. and my prayers are with you. And inshallah, more success.
Thank you so much, Ali. And this is a wrap.